Jai Shri Krishna to all. Welcome to Path to Anandam series. And today our series number is 10 and the title is Power of Non-Doing. Sarva-Ārambha-Parityāga. Pranam to Guruji, Hariharji Maharaj, for his blessings, guiding, encouraging, motivating for this session in a very Sushma form. And pranam to Bhagwan Krishna Ji, and all of you for joining. I'm Satya Kalra, the founder of Path to Anandam, the blissful living, and going beyond, experiencing who am I, where did I come from, and how would I get there. All these sessions are based on how will we reach to that our ultimate purpose of life, supreme goal of life. And all these books are tailored toward that. And all the sessions, they're all posted on YouTube under name of Satya Kalra, Path to Anandam. And all the teachings are based on science and spirituality. How to connect body, mind, and supreme soul, Paramatma. Today's session, Sarva-Ārambha-Parityāga. In this world, we all think, or many of us think, or many people think, that more busyness, more running around, more achieving the worldly goals and success in the terms of, or in the name of worldly achievements, is the purpose of our life. And we have been running around, or average person keeps running around that. But Bhagwan Krishna Ji, through the teachings of Bhagavad Gita, takes us to totally different route. And he tells us what is a success. How should we reach there? And based on that, today's title, Sarva-Ārambha-Parityāga. What is Sarva-Ārambha-Parityāga? Why Sarva-Ārambha-Parityāga? Non-doing. And what are the reasons that we cannot move on that path of non-doing? Our egocentric behavior, and how to practice it, how to achieve it, what kind of practices we should perform, and what are the benefits by putting all these efforts. And our sankalpa for today. I am the instrument of divine will, not my free will, where we try to achieve the worldly possessions. And our homework, the tip of the day. And then the meditation. I am the non-doer. So all of our sessions are for self-transformation, because prior to self-transformation, we have to do self-purification. In other words, whatever limitations we have in our way to attain the purpose of life, we have to eliminate those, substitute those with divine qualities. So in order to do that, these are all the sessions are pertaining to that, which leads to self-transformation, our self-improvement. And when we become pure, self-transformed, then we are very calm, equanimous. And from there, we are at Paramdham. We are so calm, so peaceful. And in chapter 12, which is Bhakti Yoga, there are many qualities which takes us to that ultimate path, ultimate destination. And one of them is Sarva-Ārambha-Parityāga, because we have already covered Anipeksha versus Apeksha, Suchir Dakshi, purification, which I just mentioned. Then staying in the calm place, at the neutral place, rather than too much positive and too much negative. And today's Sarva-Ārambha-Parityāga. So one who is free from expectations, pure, efficient, detached, fearless, and renounces all ego-initiated action. Such a devotee is very dear to me. But if we take this particular word, Sarva-Ārambha-Parityāga, Sarva means all. Arambha means beginning, initiating the action. But here it's talking about initiated action driven by ego or desire. But then further, the next word is Parityāgi. Tyagi means one who gives up, who let go. Tyag. But Pari means ultimate let go, truly let go. So Sarva-Ārambha-Parityāga means a devotee who gives up initiating any action from ego, pride, or personal desires. Instead of acting as an instrument of divine will. In other words, Bhagwan ji jo karayenge, I am the instrument. So in other words, not doing. I'm not the doer. The non-doing part. But it doesn't mean that we do not perform any action. So there is a fine line. Non-doing means I don't have to do anything. But here Bhagwan ji makes it very clear that we have to perform our action with the attitude of non-doing. So Tyagi, there are many types of Tyagas. We have already studied in chapter 17, 18, part of the 18, that whole Mother Nature is made with three gunas. We are made with three gunas: Tamasic, Rajasic, Sattvic. Similarly, the actions are also three types: Tamasic, Rajasic, Sattvic. And this one is basically Sarva-Ārambha-Parityāga is the Sattvic action, where we do it for the benefit of all. But the attitude is that we are the instrument of divine will, divine Shakti. Whatever flows within us, we perform actions accordingly. So we are made with energy, and that energy has to be very pure. So what stops us? Or we can say, why practice? First of all, why practice? We must know the benefit of it, because it takes a lot of efforts to become a non-doer and practice a non-doership. The true Tyaga, the ultimate Tyaga. So what do we gain out of it? And Bhagwan Ji says, before even the verse itself says, we free ourselves from the anxiety because we become the instrument of God. And when we are instrument of God, then we are free from all the anxieties because He is the one who is helping us through this pure energy. So there is no stress. By doing it, practicing, when our body calms down, we have a clear vision. And we continue on that path to Anandam, path to the purpose of our life, and on the peace. Where it says Shanti Anantaram. In chapter 12, prior to these divine qualities, Bhagwan Ji again clarifies why non-doership, why Tyaga. Shreyo hi jnana abhyasa, jnana dhyanam vishishate, dhyanat karm phalas tyaga, tyaga shanti anantaram. So, in order to attain that supreme peace, the Tyaga of the doership, not just the work, but the doership must be practiced. So it aligns us. When we perform our duty properly, we understand that karma, difference between karma and dharma. Karma, which is done with the egoistic thought, egoistic practices. I am the doer. I am the best among all. But dharma, righteous living, righteous action, doing it for all. And then, of course, by purifying ourselves, love and compassion fills in our heart. We become devotional and care more about the humanity. And by living that kind of lifestyle, then we feel very healthy. Our body is healthy because it is releasing a lot of endorphins. Then we have a peace of mind. And then Bhagwan Ji says, you become my beloved. So it also gives us a connection of body, mind, and soul. Healthy body, peaceful mind, and connection to the soul. But what prevents us to let go of our doership? We discussed previously all the insecurity in our mind. Whatever we carry, the negative thoughts, negativity in our mind. Mind is our enemy when we carry those negativity. But when we hear, and that what are those negativities? Fear. And then losing control. And losing the control, worrying of future, whether I will be successful or not. And desires for personal gain, selfishness. And then faith in the supreme power. Because I become the doer. So here is the one tip. Anytime we are worrying about it, it means we are considering ourselves, I am the doer. But when we say, no, Paramatma is the doer, then our worries disappear because He knows the best. And He will do the best for us. And He will guide us, or she will guide us to path to Anandam. But when we are worrying, it means I'm taking all the burden on my shoulders. There's a beautiful story that one person, when the people were traveling in the train, but one person just still had his suitcase on his head. And he got onto the train, and other people put the luggage down, but he still had his luggage on his head. And people say, why don't you put it down? He says, no, I have to go to next station and I have to carry my luggage on my head. And then people try to convince him that you don't have to do that. Just put it down. We are in the train. Train will take us. So similarly, we have to give that weight, worries, concern to the supreme power. But we have to have a full faith in the supreme power. And why we don't have it? Because we have too many desires, we are angry, we are upset, we are attached. I am the one who am better, I can do it myself. And all these things, with the weight of all these things, our body sometimes cannot take it and develop a lot of stress, which leads to the diseases and heartburns, confusions, like Arjun. He thought he was the one who was performing his activities in the war. And he couldn't do it until Bhagwanji helped him to realize he's not the doer. God is the doer. He is the doer, through that blessing of giving him the wisdom of Bhagavad Gita. And not only for him, but for all of us. So these are the signs that whether we are a doer or not the doers, or taking the responsibility. Taking responsibilities, we must take the responsibility of action. But God is the one who is helping us to go on that path. So then how to practice non-doership in daily life? And I just put this book, one of my book, which says Prosperity Forever through Karma Yoga. So this part is coming from Karma Yoga, where it says that you pause before taking any action. Ask that question, why am I doing it? Will this action help me to fulfill the purpose of my life? Am I doing it for the name and fame? Will it enhance my eternal happiness and peace? Would it let go of my controlling nature? Would it allow me to surrender? And then dedicate all the action to divine by focusing on the action, not on the results. In other words, we have to practice Karma Yoga. We have to convert every karma, every action into Karma Yoga. Means do it with best of your capabilities, skills, for the benefit of all, with love and compassion. Sarva-Ārambha-Parityāga. Let that go. Let God take care of it. And do it for Sarva-Bhūti-Terata, for everybody. So, Sarva-Ārambha-Parityāga is not just about doing nothing. It is about non-doership. It is about acting without ego, inner tension, personal agenda, and as a divine hands in motion. In other words, when we practice that, Our hands are moving, our mind is moving, our everything is coming with the divine Shakti. So here is an example that how to select, because the whole session is Sarva-Ārambha-Parityāga. Doership, non-doership and doership. Doership, when I am the doer, my ego is playing on the way. And non-doership, Paramatma is doing it. So two things here. One, we have to select what kind of work I do. Because that's why it says pause and before action, ask yourself. So selection, and then the attitude of selection. With what kind of attitude I do? The attitude is, I'm not the doer. Supreme power is the doer. These are the two main messages here. So how to practice it? Again, as I said, the teachings of Bhagavad Gita, where we practice karma yoga, bhakti yoga, jnana yoga, dhyan yoga. All these have to be practiced together. Which karma yoga cannot be done without love and compassion, cannot be done without skills and wisdom, and cannot be done without calmness. And the calmness comes with dhyan yoga. And again, as I said, it is based on my question and God's answers and prosperity forever through the art of work. So again, this is stressful conditions. This is why we cannot do it. But here are the methods. Yes, we can do it. And how we can do it? Again, convert karma into dharma. And then practice. Let go the egocentric behavior that I am the doer. In other words, I-ness. Guruji always said, go beyond I-ness and minus. Just like a mathematical equation. Remove the I-ness means ego. And the fruit of work should not be your motive. Karmanye vadika raste ma phaleshu kadachan ma karma phaletu bhurmate sango astu karmani. You have a right to do the work, but not the outcome. So first we have to set the goal that every action should be my dharma, my duty, righteousness. And then with the bhava of tyaga, doership, and let the fruits, not the focus on the fruits, but on the task. And then offer everything to Supreme Power. Bhagwan Ji says, offer every action to me without any ego. So by practicing, we will self-transform and reach to the purpose of our life, Satchit Anand. So the benefits, again, summarizing it, that there are the spiritual benefits. Inner peace, devotion, ego, dissolution. Again, Shreyo hi jnana abhyasa, jnana dhyanam vishishate, dhyanat karma phalas tyaga, tyaga shanti anantaram. Ultimate peace comes from the tyag. Because there are many different type of tyags, but this is mainly focused on the action, because every minute we are doing some action. And when we are doing the action, that action has to, with the bhava of surrender, let go. One acts as unattached, is never bound. That's another benefit we get. We go toward the liberation, the freedom, moksha. And then there are medical benefits. Many studies show that it reduces the stress, improves the mood, our heart, our health, and mindfulness. We are living with the mindfulness. focus that I am not the doer. Supreme power is the doer. And by doing that, that gives us the wholeness. Our body, mind, and soul are all connected because our mind becomes more pure. And then we develop more love and compassion in our heart. So we are more pure. We remove all that garbage what we have in our subconscious mind, because 90% of our behavior is based on the subconscious mind. By doing the awareness, by doing these practices, then the subconscious mind, little by little, it gets cleansed. It removes all those previous recordings, deleting everything from our disk of our mind. So again, I put it here. Non-doership is not an inactivity, but sacred activity. It is a divine activity, which is without ego. Parityagi, ultimate renunciation, is the gateway to the spiritual success and mental clarity, which we experience with happiness, with healthy body and peaceful mind, means wholeness of our body, mind, and soul. And then have the experience of God. We become beloved of supreme power, Bhagwan Krishna, and experience I am Satchit Anand. So again, these are the practices. And I just want to re-emphasize the daily planner. This is a 30 days planner for the self-transformation, self-purifications, and then experiencing who am I. But we must do the proper practices. Though our today's focus is on ultimate renunciation, Sarva-Ārambha-Parityāga, but we have to be aware of it, that what am I doing in my life? Am I selecting the proper activities? For example, sometimes at least I get confused when I have faced the two activities. Should I do this or should I not do this? Do's and don'ts. Like sometimes I get the invitation to go to certain parties, certain places. And at the same time, I have to compromise with my spiritual activities. Then which one should I choose? The answer is depending. But I usually prefer to continue my spiritual practices. However, if there is some situation, where if somebody dies or somebody is sick or something, then I take that as a priority versus doing my spiritual practice. So this is how we make our selections. If before engaging or doing any activity, if I have to take a new project, I have to ask myself, would this take me to higher self, or would it bring more attachment to worldly possessions? And it will take my time on getting involved with this, more with the worldly things. So these are the selection we have to make. And then the other thing, I am not the doer. Paramatma is the doer. However, in order for us to get to that level that God is the one, that's his Leela, I am his instrument, then we have to do all these practices. So first be aware of it, live in the awareness, then analyze it. Which one should I do? Why should I do it? And then action for correction, whatever action we need. And these are the simple guidelines. And we should start our day with some spiritual practice. Whether we read Bhagavad Gita, we do Om Mantra, we do Ramayana, Guru Granth Sahib, whatever resonates with us. But by practicing this, we get the bhava of Tyaga. And then practice, practice, practice. Yoga, pranayam, Surya Namaskar, meditation, all these practices, then we transform. In other words, the subconscious mind gets cleansed, negativity gets out of the mind, it deletes, and then it's filled with all these spiritual practices. So let go of our doership, let go of divine flow. And by doing that, self-purification, transformation, self-realization, eternal happiness, peace, all that comes. But we practice during the day. In the evening, keeping in mind that this is our path. But before going to bed, we should just simply let go. Sarva-Ārambha-Parityāga. Mamekam sharanam braj. Bhagwan Ji says, I will take care of you. Aham tvam sarpapebhyo moksha shyami majuje. So just let go. This is how we can practice Sarva-Ārambha-Parityāga. So our sankalpa is, I am not the doer. I am the instrument, divine instrument. And I perform every activity as his will or her will. So our sankalpa, our commitment, by practicing little by little, our mind will transform, our buddhi will purify it. And then we reach to the higher self because our conscious mind, our conscious mind is cleansed. Or in other words, our activities, what we do in the present time, at the conscious level, it cleanses our subconscious mind. And then finally, it reaches and experience the supreme mind, universal mind, supreme consciousness. So here is step by step as the turtle. So Shanai Shanai Buddhi. So here is the Shanai Shanai Buddhi me Buddhya Buddhi Grahita. Atma Sansam Nakinchita Pichintayat. We have to make sure we live in the consciousness of supreme power. That is the key. And that's where our homework comes. Whatever we do, we just live in awareness, but witness it. Don't be a part of it. And then we can change the gear of our life. Anytime we think that I am the one who is doing it. By becoming Sakshi, we align. We can change the lane of the I-ness to go to the next lane, non-doership. But we must ask this question, do I have the purpose of my life? Assess before starting any action. Do I work from ego, for name and fame? Or I do it as a seva? Do I let go of my doership? In other words, do I surrender? Do I perform my duty without attachment? Do I work with love and compassion? Continue to ask these questions. And by doing that, here we can go beyond that and experience who am I. And live in happiness, healthy, happy, and peaceful life. And go beyond and achieve the purpose of our life. So thank you very much for joining and attending the power of non-doership. Sarva-Ārambha-Parityāga.